And we are live. Super Audio Network.
Yeah.
Dusty Vision Radio. Sitting here with my boy Dre Day all day
How's it going, Dusty?
and all night. It's going great, my man. We sound like a couple of jazz
Yeah, I was just gonna say
radio.
that. NPR.
Oh, yeah. We have another great show for you tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking to Super Cuz. He's a super duper OG. And we're going to have an awesome conversation about the history of the East Coast Crips. So let's give Super Cuz a call.
All right.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Leave a comment, like, tell all your friends about our awesome thing we have going on over here.
Hello.
Super Cuz, how are you, man?
I'm blessed. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining the show, my man.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, cool. So, I'll give you a nice intro, and we'll get going, and we'll knock it out in about 25, 30 minutes.
Sounds good to me.
Cool. All right, on the line, I have a super duper OG, and we're going to be chatting tonight about the East Coast Crips. State your name and your hood, my man.
I'm Super Cuz. I'm from Stockton, East Coast Crips, but I bang all of them. First Street to 2400 block.
Yes, sir. 209 in the building, right?
Oh, that's the area code, yes, sir. But that don't got nothing to do with the coasting.
Okay. Well, shit. Let's start, I guess, from the beginning. Can you explain the difference between the origins of the East Coast Crips, the neighborhood Crips, and the block Crips? Because I know your hood kind of falls under that whole umbrella, right?
Exactly. Well, shit. Originally, the East Coast came about from an effort of Raymond and a few other OGs of trying to unify Crippin when it got out of control. It was so many different sects popping up and new things. They wanted the original idea was to unify the whole east side of, at that time, South Central, under one umbrella of East Coast, and they was going to do the same with the West Side and call it West Coast, but shit went left, and it never really actually happened. But the unification of the East Side hoods had already started, and most of them were neighborhoods. It started in the six pack. So we 6'2", 6'6", 6'8", 6'9". I believe Six Deuce was the first one. If not 6'9". I might be mistaken, but one of them is where it originally started.
Okay.
And we're blessed to actually say that Raymond was part of, getting this going.
Okay.
And the knowledge that I'm giving to you is, from the generations that were there with him. I was blessed to get with a bunch of OGs when I went to Soledad in '93, and they laced my, because I always been a person of elevation my whole life. Everything has always been an elevation. I always wanted to know where I was from. I got into this for a different reason than most people.
What's that?
Anti-government.
Oh, okay. No shit. That's interesting.
Anti-police.
Huh.
When it was preached to me, I was 13 years old in a park.
Okay.
And a couple homies from 11-8 had came down and were kicking it with my big homie Danny, cartoon mate, coach in peace. And yeah, that's how it got more or less sold to me, because I've always been anti-establishment, because the truth of the matter is, let's look at the facts at hand. When have they ever did us good things? If they don't think a bunch of people can control a bunch of people, how do they think a few people can control a bunch of people? And call it a fair system. You can't do that.
That's an interesting reason why you joined the gang, and I kind of like that reason.
Well, I was a rebel all my life. I was 8 years old. I got in super trouble for standing up in class. Honestly, I never believed we went to the moon. That's a whole nother topic. But, when I was that kid, I was that little troublemaking shit kid that just uncooperative. But they showing me this. They're showing me this spaceship from the Smithsonian, and they're saying they come back from the moon in this aluminum foil looking little shit. And I even by that time I'd studied enough with my grandpa, who was country as shit, to know where you put the fuel on that little thing to get back from the moon. And they could never answer that question. So, I've been a rebel.
Yeah. And by a rebel, by disruptive, you mean you just ask questions. You aren't one of these fools that just
No,
went by
I'm
with
not
the
I'm
yeah.
not, I've not been looking for the sheep herder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be the sheep.
Mm,
I would rather be a lone wolf than to mingle in company of just people that are yes men or
mm,
follow suit with the indoctrination. I've never felt comfortable with that. Even religion, I bucked most of my life, and it took me a long
mm,
time to get an understanding about that.
mm. Yeah.
You know,
I like where this is
self
going.
study.
I like where this is going, Super Cuz. Real talk. That's dope. Yeah, let's get back to your hood. To the best of your knowledge, when did East Coast pop up in Stockton?
Okay, again, I'm second generation. I'm not the first generation. I will tell you to the best of my knowledge, and I just went over this with Big Mookie, my big homie, just today to make sure that my facts were straight. It originally come to Stockton probably '83
Oh, okay.
when the homie Hector Roach got out of YA. Now I had to sit down with Heck. I don't got Heck's number on hand, but just because we're gonna do this for my own nature, I'm gonna go back and sit down with Heck and
Okay.
see exactly who and what and which coasters he was messing with that made him bring that back to the streets. So we was already doing the East Coast thing, from my understanding, and then roundabout my era of coming into the fold was like the end of '87, and the 11/8s had came up here with another homie, East Salone. His uncle or cousin was from 11/8, so they would come up here a lot. And them was who I ran into at the park with the homie Danny. So we actually had some individuals from 11/8 East Coast up here too. But if anybody who really knows Stockton individuals, we're not going to be long for claiming something that ain't from just here.
Okay.
So although we embrace the East Coast part of it, and we got cousins from other, sets and stuff, the banging somebody else's number was never our thing. So like my era was just East Coast Block Crip. We really didn't have a number attachment
Mm,
until
okay. When did you first join the hood?
in '87.
87. Okay. And you said you're second generation. Who are some of your OGs that came before you?
Oh, Big Mook, my cartoon. Cartoon is the one who put me on the hood, cuz, and then that motherfucker got locked up and went to prison. So from late 13, 14, 15, I was lost in my gang banging. I really didn't even know what I was doing in the world. To tell you the truth, I was running around gang banging, not even knowing a foundation of what I was really doing at all.
Mm,
And it wasn't until later on that I got a little bit more foundation up under me. So, you know, by that time, the whole hood was out east, was banging mostly East Coast Crip, and a few of the older ones like who Kip, and then Prince. And Prince was already locked up by the time I got back out to doing my thing real tough. It was I say, what was that, 80, 88, 89, come 90. Now Stockton had turned into a whole nother level of gangbanging.
mm,
Every side of town was doing one or the other, you know. For the majority though, there wasn't really no Bloods in Stockton, but on Union Street and then the West Side.
okay.
But by the time I got out of prison in '96, the first time, it was a whole nother situation. Then there was Bloods in damn near every side of town.
Mm,
and I no longer push the bullshit. I'm from East Coast, and that's what it is. But as far as, I don't got no beef with no hood on the streets, as far
mm,
as I'm concerned. We all got our own problem with the authorities that's on our
mm,
necks
yeah. Yeah.
until we get back to the republic and not this democracy bullshit.
Yeah, and that's why I had you on the show, man, because I know you're an OG who isn't out there banging and promoting this shit in a negative way. You're moving in the opposite direction, which I really
Oh,
like that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The numbers alone though, I learned and coming up as a youngster, that if a person, as soon as an OG of whatever caliber, even as much of as my reputation precedes me as being a hitter,
Hmm.
once you say I used to bang, I used to be from, woo woo woo, 90% of the young ones up under that's listening have officially turned you off, and you are Charlie Brown's teacher in their ear.
Hmm. Womp, womp,
They
womp, womp.
they're known right. You're just kicking some shit.
Hmm.
And you'd be lucky if they listen to 2% of anything that you even said.
Mm.
However, if you say you're from your neighborhood, you ain't changed that. You're about your community, and that's all the things I'm for. If, it's changing the things. It's understanding that gangbanging ain't that was played out. That was a plot on the people. Understand that it was a plot on the people that got us all twisted up into the gangbanging wonderland.
Mm.
And now that people have enlightened, you have way more action at direct knowledge now. Even though it's out there, it's been watered down so much that a lot of these youngsters is looking for a way to get out of the shit sooner rather than later
Hmm.
because it's been so watered down. I mean, we got men wearing skirts and wearing rags. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a different time, man. Um, now, in your own words, you said you crip walked through 6 prison systems. Talk to me about your first prison stint. What was it for? And
Oh, man.
yeah, explain it to me, man. Shit, light that blunt. I hear you lighting something in the back.
I gotta light the blunt, yes, sir. Uh,
I got my joint going too,
and
player.
that's right. In '92, in the end of it, I did some stupid shit, and I got into it with 3 dudes who I wish I would have knew at the time really weren't with the business, but they were selling wolf tickets. I ended up putting a bullet in one of them. They all told on me. I went to prison for attempted murder. I took a deal for 7 years. I unfortunately took my crimey with me, Snuff Loke from Valverde Park, Crip, North Side. Uh, he had a full scholarship, man, to Tennessee
Ooh.
to play baseball, and he was leaving in like 2 weeks because
Oh,
this haunts my soul to this day, and that's the reason I'm bringing it up because they tried to get him to tell on me, and he wasn't going for it. I even told him to tell on me, just cause
wow.
then I tried to take the thing for myself, but they were just. It was to them. It was just numbers. It's 2 of you. We want 2 people. And,
Wow.
like I couldn't take my deal if he didn't take a deal. That's exactly how they came at us.
Mm.
So he had to fuck his whole life off to even get me a deal in prison, and I'll forever love him for that.
Uh,
So
damn.
it's
Damn.
fucked up. But anyway, there were choices I made. I ended up in DVI at the reception center. I had to make hard choices. I'm either going to crip, I'm gonna get what I've been doing on, or I just really couldn't see me siding with the woods. I didn't know how to do none of that.
No,
Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you, and don't take this personal because I'm half white and
not
half
at all.
black. But are you a white dude?
I'm Italian.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
it all depends on where you put
Y-
your
yeah,
pies. My grandma won't allow me to claim the color
I
crayon
like
things.
for sure. So you're
She,
Italian, which is definitely not the predominantly race of the Crips. So yeah, please
right.
talk about that. So going in there as an Italian dude, being a Crip.
For one, just for anybody listening, my main neighborhood, I was born like in the center of it at 410 South Filbert. That's like 2 houses from the main complex, the Filbert Arms, or where all the shit usually we kicked off from, as far as the banging out east.
Hmm.
So it was mostly, uh, blacks and Mexicans. I hate the term black. I like saying more better, but for people listening,
Yeah, for
they'll
the
probably prefer
layman's.
black.
Yeah, for the layman's.
Right. So black and Mexican predominate. I had to come up a little rough. In other words, is what I'm saying to you. And I had a long history of growing up, which it took me out the hood for a minute, and then I found the hood back when I was in middle school, which I told you about. Danny Loke in the park, and I found out that the railroad tracks got me from my grandma's to the old neighborhood. Oh, it was all bad after that. So as I was saying, I get to Tracy. I made my decision. I'm doing my cripping. I had to put hands on a couple white boys there, but not really too bad because there was a lot of Crips from Stockton
Okay.
there that was backing me up. So it wasn't a lot of real problems. I had one situation in the shower with a dude that talked too much, so we ended up with a bar of soap in his mouth and knocked out.
Damn.
And from there, they kind of understood that I wasn't no softy.
Hmm.
And I was built for this shit as far as I was 6'2", 240. People would say I look mean. It's just what this blessings of Italian genetics gave me. And So, Tracy wasn't too bad. Then they moved me to Soledad. Now, this will always be a moment in my life I remember. When I got off the bus in Soledad, mind you, I never been to no prisons.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know what transferring one prison to the next prison meant. I get off the bus, they got a little chart. They're asking your gang affiliation as soon as you get off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get off the bus and I say Crip, oh my God, you would have thought alarm went off. They snatched me up and rushed me to the back room. And I spent the next hour, I don't know, something with a little Mexican CO and then all his buddies that he brung in to give me lectures of what the white boys was gonna do to me, and they ain't gonna play that shit. You're white, you're gonna be white. You're not gonna come to their yard and do this shit. And I said, well, it's already here, and I'm here, and it's too late for me to not be here. So I don't know how to do what you telling me to do. So I'm just gonna have to take my chances. So. And believe me, they told me everything from I'm gonna get fucked. Let me just be honest. They done told me everything from I'm gonna get fucked to killed and everything in between. In the hour or so, they kept me there and sent everybody else that came on 2 bus loads from Tracy went to the orientation wing. But they put me right in the general population, but just stuck me on CTQ, confined to quarters.
Okay.
While I went through the processing, you had to be there a few days, your paperwork, catch up, all the bullshit. But basically, they put me out there to see how the line was going to take me. So first thing pop up is a white boy. Hey, brother, get the fuck away from my cell door. I ain't your fucking brother. He was confused as shit. And I was like, look, cuz I'm a Crip.
Oh, shit.
I'm out of Stockton. I'm from the East Coast. Get the fuck away from my door with that bullshit. And his look kind of went kind of angry, and I was 19, homie, and at 19 I had no value for life. I was so not the person that I am today. I lived and breathed for combat, violence, shooting, everything, and I know a lot of people say that, but if you track down people that know Super Cuz and Rob Dog back then, I guarantee they tell you the same story that I'm telling you now. The person I am today is not the person I was yesterday, and I'm very thankful for that. But at this time, I wanted it every way I could have it because I was chasing a reputation of a badass. And I banged on him at the door. He was, oh, no, brother, not me. I don't know how the brothers on the yard are feel and all that. Well, you go tell your brothers on the yard. I'll be out of here in 6-7 days when they let me out to CTQ. About 30 minutes later, the homie Green Eyes made Coast and Peace from 11 mate popped up at my door, and brothers for life till he died. Cause and he introduced me to a bunch of others. It just how the spirit. I'm not religious in no kind of way, but certain people come here and have a bigger mission than others and a bigger energy field. And I know I'm one of them people for situations like this. I ended up in Soledad, of all prisons, where the Crips actually still ran the yard, which that's not likely in no prisons no more. It ain't like that. But at this time, I got sent to the yard that it was like 350 Crips on this one yard, and like 60 of them were East Coast.
Okay.
So that's why I was there with Big Al Capone from 6'9", Big Green Eyes from 11-8, Big Red Devil from 11-8. Oh, shit, so many different ones. Big Duck from 6 Deuce. So many. Oh, man, so many homies. That's where people started learning about me. And a lot of them didn't even know there was a Stockton East Coast. Because, I was the introduction for a lot of people through prison of Stockton East Coasting, because we were so little in comparison to what the East Coast is from Los Angeles, which is enormous.
Yeah, thousands.
Yeah, right, thousands. So from Soledad, I end up having to whoop a little Crip dude they put in my cell from IE, because I was on CTQ for whooping somebody else.
What's CTQ?
Confined to quarters.
Okay.
Soledad was one of the few prisons that you could have a fight and they wouldn't just send you to the hole. They'll put you on confined quarters for 10 days and give you the write-up time.
Okay.
But they wasn't, if it wasn't a stick in their weapons or numbers, they didn't give a fuck. A head-up fight, you can have that. Just take your time and CTQ. So I whooped on the Peckerwood. in the cafeteria,
Mm,
and they had me locked up, and they put a new celly in my cell,
mm.
and he thought I was PCing up. I guess. I
Okay.
guess in his mind, I was PCing up, but he not knowing I've been there like 6 months, putting in work on all levels. When we had rides with a few different cars,
Mm,
and I had already did a few different things, and I was well established, is what I'm saying.
mm-hmm.
So he goes to the yard running his mouth. Oh, they got me in this punk ass white boy, yada 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 yada.
Oh, damn.
Come unlock. Green Eye slide up to the door and tell me all that. They got him hemmed up sitting on the bench. They won't even let him off the bench. He been stuck on the bench for 2 hours to unlock. But I'm like, just send him home, cuz. Don't be mad at him. He in my cell. Send that motherfucker home, cuz. So they sent him home, and I beat the brakes off that motherfucker. And come count time, he was man down, man down. I have to change cells.
You guys fought in the cell, like in the 6x9 quarters?
Right, right.
Damn, dog.
So yeah, it was bad for him though, because he was the little of the two. But because of that, he ended up getting moved out the cell. It was months, cuz like 2 months later, he got some IE partners that pulled up from IE, and I guess he got his chest back out, and he wanted to fade again.
Mm.
So we went in the shower, and I beat him up again.
Wow.
And there was no marks on me except he scratched me down my chest, and I didn't realize that. But the pig seemed to scratch down my chest, and that got me the extra time. They had transformed Soledad to a lower level prison, so they ended up sending me on a bus to Mule Creek, which was a whole nother experience because it's just like it sounds, Mule Creek.
Mule Creek.
And when I got off the bus, you know how they got the murals of the different, it's a mural of what the institution is, basically.
Okay.
It's an upside down horseshoe with some guys panning for gold in the water with a donkey. So I already knew the type of land I was walking into.
Uh-huh.
And sure as shit,
Modern day slavery.
yeah, sure as shit, they set me up. The pig set me up. This is the only time I can say for sure, without a doubt, the pig set me up. They sent me out on unlock for work, not regular shit, but to pick up my property. And anybody who transfers from one prison to the other, believe me, you want your property.
Mm.
You been stuck one day without especially if you got TV and all the shit like I had, you want your property. But the homies knew it. They were yelling out the cell, no, cuz, fuck that, cuz. No, that ain't right. Stay in the house, stay in, and just we'll take you to get the shit when everybody come out. But like again, now I was 19 when I hit Soledad. I was 20 when I hit Mule Creek. Again, I'm young rider. I wasn't trying to hear none of that. I want my property, even though I'm in flip flops, all that shit. Anyway, I get to the yard. 7 white boys got around me, and one went to shake my hand. I'm not a dummy. He didn't come to shake my hand, so I got the second chance. And we, it was what it was. It was them trying to get with me and me giving it back, and then the gun went off, and all these motherfuckers dove to the ground. So I got to kicking motherfuckers for field goals till they tackled me and sprayed me up and all that shit, because I felt, at the time I didn't even give a fuck. I was just lost in the mode. I was like, these niggas went down. Oh, I'm finna get all my get back. So everybody went to the classification the next few days, looked as bad as me. It was 7 white boys that had something on them. A black eye, a busted lip, a busted nose, every one of them. And I had that. I had a black eye. I had a knot in the back of the head. I had a busted lip. I ain't gonna lie. I had all that. But I fought 7 motherfuckers, and all 7 of you motherfuckers looked like me. I talked so much shit while we was in there waiting on classification. They was in there doing all that old funny ass white boy extra shit. I'm gonna kill your mother. I'm gonna rape your grandsons. Oh, they was doing all that extra shit. There's the most shit talking this motherfuckers behind doors you'll ever find. I've endured all that especially when I go to the hole. So that was Mule Creek. I ended up doing the rest of the year out at Mule Creek, and then they end up sending me back to DVI to the main line, and I did my last 2 years of that joke there. Then I paroled. I'm gonna try to catch us up quick and get me to the end of my shit. Then I paroled. I was only out 100 days. I didn't learn nothing.
What?
I still didn't have no love and respect for life like I thought I
Mm,
did,
mm.
and I ended up back in with a high speed and a gun case.
Damn,
But
dog.
thankfully, the homie that I still ain't gonna say his name, but he knows who he was. He got away from me. Well, you know what? It's been so long. What could they do? It's the homie Bear,
Don't.
Johnny Bear. Shit, it's been so.
Oh,
This
okay.
96.
Oh,
This
okay. All right,
96.
there you
Cause
go.
what they gonna do?
Okay.
I had to think about it.
Fuck
I'm
it.
so
Shout out to
I'm
John.
so used to not. Yeah, but they can't do shit about it, motherfucker. Well, he got away, nigga. What did you say? You didn't catch him, and because of that, they couldn't put the strap just on me. Especially because when the police got it, they were palm fucking it, so I know there wasn't no way they got no prints off the gun.
Mm,
So they didn't even try to charge me because they knew I was on parole and I was gonna get that year violation regardless for taking them on the high speed alone. So I end up doing a year violation. I was gonna go back to the main line in Tracy because that's where you go back, reception.
mm-hmm.
So the counselor I just left, they were gonna pull me right back over. But this is the year of the flood. I don't know if you know about the flood of
Nah,
that year.
I don't know about it.
Oh, cause it was vicious. When you got to the other side of the gun tower, it was like an ocean all the way to the freeway.
Hmm.
It had got that close to the prison.
Okay.
So they start busing motherfuckers out of there. They was busing them out 24/7, knocking on doors. They end up sending me to punk ass CMC East. Oh man, place I'd have never probably seen. It's usually for medical type shit, kind of
Okay.
like Vacaville.
Mm,
But I was a violator and they were trying to shit people. I ended up on the bus.
mm.
Now, this is the only prison that I got bused to that when I got off the bus, they had the fucking goon squad waiting on me with their dogs and gave me the whole speech of how I could not be a white crip in their facility and how I could not and bet not bang crip while I'm in here and disrupt there and all that. And I gave them. It was funny at first. The blow I caught to the gut for laughing wasn't funny,
Oh
but
shit.
it was funny at first that they was taking because I was like, cause I've been to hella prisons, right? Cause they obviously didn't check that. I guess they thought this was my first joke and I ended up here. I don't know what it was, but the way they reacted, they act like they didn't know I've been to prison before. I'm like, this is the fucking fourth prison I've been to. You don't think they don't know I'm a crip already? So they ended up doing the cowardly shit of throwing me in the cell with a wood, but it was a 60-year-old white dude who didn't gangbang, hoping I would beat him up just on principle. But I've never been that type of cowardly motherfucker to just go beat up on a motherfucker old dude. No way. So that didn't happen. I just handled my business and he respected what it was going on till it took 2-3 days to find a homie to transfer cells. And end up in there with Chill Will from Dago 30s.
Okay.
No, 40s. Excuse me.
Shout out
Quoted
Chill
him
Will.
wrong. Chill Will. I wish I could catch him because. So I did my year there. I learned a lot of things. That was a yard that was full of suckers. So, but shout out to Big Den Dog from 6'6". He was there. Uh, he helped me get through some shit. Mentally, it was a different situation to have a taste of the streets and then just get ripped back. You know, was it was kind of devastating on my mind. This is what was the time that actually started my elevation.
Okay.
Before I was only kind of elevating on outlaw shit.
Mm,
This was a setback of a year that made me really reevaluate life
mm.
and really did I want to be in like this? Was this going to be how my book was wrote? I want to do things in life, and so there went into my studies of real history, studies of religion,
Mm.
symbolism, occultism, the different well, from Freemason all the way around the fence, skull and bones,
Mm-hmm.
to the different unifications of shit that is running the world.
Mm-hmm.
That was why I started. I wrote a song called "Political Bullshit." Everybody can still find that on my OG Set Bet album under Rob Dog Loco, my original set name.
Okay.
That's still widely out there on any of the digital platforms. I think they're still out there on pretty much everything. Amazon, Spotify, it's out there.
Might have to play that after the show.
And so I did my year. I come home. I was doing decent. Again, I was on a different search. I was trying to now. I was gonna get into cage fighting.
Okay.
So the homie Peabody was doing an album, and the homies was sponsoring it, and they were doing it right in the hood. They basically rented a house out and built the studio in the house to do the album. So I ended up being security and shit for the homie Sammy Seeds, the homie in the wheelchair, and hanging out with him all the time, and not even chasing what I was supposed to be chasing at the time, and that was my MMA goals. So I ended up with a stalker. I don't know if anybody ever had to deal with a stalker, and a real stalker,
damn.
bro. A real stalker, yeah.
A chick, a chick or a dude?
Super broad.
Okay.
Yeah, ain't gonna be no dude stalking
No,
me.
I'm
It's
just
been over.
saying, you don't know what the fuck is going on out there.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, that's a big shot to Felita Hill, because, bitch, I wish I could find you. You need to go to court and get that shit right.
Oh shit.
That bitch cost me all type of shit. So, bottom line is, the bra fell in love with a motherfucker, and I didn't fall in love with her. I was man enough to tell the bitch I found a woman. This woman went looking for this woman around the whole apartment complex,
Oh, hell no.
knocking on doors asking for Erica, and found somebody named Erica that wasn't the same Erica,
Like
and
Asian
ended up
chick?
getting herself beat up. No, this is sister.
Nah, I'm
So
just
mixed.
joking.
She was mixed. She ended up getting herself beat up by a group of women. You know,
Wow.
after she done been stalking me for weeks, calling my grandma, telling me she loves me and all that shit. Got my grandma cussing me out because she called it at 2 a.m. So much so that I told my parole officer about this bitch. Let me just say that much. That it took my gangbanging
Yeah.
ass, told my parole officer. That's how bad it had got. That look, this is in case she ever try any sneakery shit. Listen, this is a stalker. And sure enough, when she got beat up by them broads, I might have laughed.
Uh,
I might have even said, stomp the bitch, kick the bitch once or twice.
or 17 times.
You know, I might have said something. I didn't cause this. She did all this to herself. I had no negative energy in this. You went door to door finding somebody, banging on them, and then punched the broad, and then her friends beat you up. Hey, this is your karma coming back to fuck you up.
Mm,
Yes, but she called the police and said I did that shit to her.
damn.
Right. So I end up fighting the case. Her friend come and testify for me at the hearing. So they only gave me 4 months because I admitted that I threw beer on the crazy bitch because after that, after she got beat up, she tried to scratch me all in the face for, again, probably the things that I
fuck.
said. You know, so I threw beer on her, and the
Nice.
crazy bitch, she grabbed the bottle out my hand. I gotta say, she was slick and fast,
Uh-huh.
and went to bust me in my shit. And
Damn.
I simply put a bear hug on her until her big pregnant partner grabbed her and held her up, and I got my ass out of there.
You can't write a
And
movie
her
like
big-
this, Super
Hey,
Cuz.
on everything, cousin. On my daughters, I ain't gotta put nothing on nothing. I ain't gotta put an extra because
no, I
everything
believe
I'm
you,
telling
homie.
you.
I
was
100%
straight truth.
believe you.
So Stacy came and testified for me at the hearing of the parole hearing, because they was going to give me a year violation, of course, for they think I hit this woman. But because her friend come and testified that she was lying, I never hit nobody. I didn't touch her. The same story I told you, she told them.
Mm-hmm.
I admitted to throwing beer on her. They gave me 4 months for liquid battery. I didn't even know that's a charge,
The
but that's a
fuck is
real
that?
charge.
That
Liquid
That sounds like
battery,
some shit they
cuz.
make up on the spot. I'm
On
charging you for
everything,
liquid
cuz.
battery.
So I end up in Corcoran. Right when Corcoran was hot for the Gladiator Wars.
Mm.
That the COs was making motherfuckers fight and all that shit.
Oh, okay.
They was just
I
getting
remember that.
busted up for that.
Mm.
So they sent me to this. I'm in New Corcoran now, not old Corcoran. I'm across the street in New Corcoran. Yard so new, ain't no grass. It's dirt.
Mm.
All dirt. So I get there, I go through the same shit. Now, this is level 2 living. I ain't did this before. I've been cell living all these other years and shit. Now they put me into a dorm. I'm in a real uncomfortable situation. I am not comfortable in a dorm with a bunch of people walking around. And then I go to my bunk and it's a white dude. And as soon as I seen that, I said, "Oh, cuz this ain't gonna work." And he heard me say that and he started. So I already marked him in my book. I was like, "Oh, okay. Cuz right here, he think he tough." I see. I already had marked him in my book. And sure enough, the next day I'm in line at the library, which is on the yard, by the way. How fucked up shit is. You gotta get it's a window. How many motherfuckers know what book you want? You go to the window and say, "Give me a book." How many motherfuckers know what book you want?
Mm.
Nobody know what book. Yeah, but anyway, that's not neither here nor there. My grandpa country is shit. If anybody ever listened to my from my music to when I tell about my upbringing, I got a country grandpa that had me hunting hella young. I'm a country boy at heart, raised in the city. So
Okay.
I say that to say this. My grandpa taught me a lot of just basic things. And on this day, it came to pass that one of the basic things he taught me saved my ass. And that is I kept the sun where the shadows were casted to me, not away from me, as I was standing waiting. And because of that, I seen the white boy coming up behind me to try to take me from behind. So he swung and he barely got off one, and I turned around and split him with a two-piece from his eye to his chin.
Damn.
And then his other buddy was coming with him was the punk that was at the bunk the night before. But when he seen his boy go down like that, the bitch motherfucker took off running. Now they laid us down and took us in there. And the break I caught this day, which I never caught nowhere else, was on this particular yard in New Corcoran. It was all basically black ran. Almost all the COs were black. The head lieutenants were all black. Even the associate warden was black. So they kind of took it. It was funny that I was on the yard beat this white boy up like this, because the white boy's in the cell in the medical next to me, still selling all this wolf ticket shit with his face hanging open. And the COs is telling him, "Have you seen what you look like? Have you seen what you look like? You talking all this shit to this man, but have you seen what you look like though?" So when they basically interview me to tell me, they about to take me to the hole and all this other shit, I'm like, "Man, why are you gonna take me to the hole?" Because I'm gonna go and I'm gonna beat the write-up. Look in my file. I beat all these write-ups. I beat all these fight write-ups because I learned their own game early on when they had me sitting there with nothing to read but their rule book. Okay. And number one is they know why I'm getting attacked if it's a white dude. I don't gotta say nothing. I don't gotta incriminate nobody. They know what's going on. If it's me and a white boy, they understand the dynamics of prison.
Yeah.
So I don't have to say nothing. Now, if you say you threw the second punch, whatever punch, because you were defending yourself, in prison, there's no such thing. It's called mutual combat, and you get the same fucking time. You have no right to defend yourself other than, and I quote unquote, thwart blows. So at the time, I didn't even quite know what thwarting means. So I made it my point to look it up, and I found out that is to throw blows to deflect blows, basically. Blocking, in other words, for saying blocking.
Hey, Super Cuz,
So-
just so you know, I got like 3 more minutes. I got another guest coming in.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
no, but it's all good. No, actually, I was going to tell you I want to do a part 2 if that's cool with
Oh,
you.
well, yeah, I mean, that's up to you. Anyway,
No.
Corcoran, I end up winning and doing only 4 months. I end up beating all the bullshit. I end up doing one more charge for bullshit. I come home, I smart enough, I started my own business.
That's what I wanted to get into too.
I'm gonna catch a sub. I started my own business. I wish I'd have knew more about business. I could have made it go further. I was DoorDash before there was ever DoorDash. It was called Go For You Express, and I did what you needed me to do. And I ended up in a courier job, working for different law offices, taking papers and getting them signed and stamped, and getting a check for it. Then I went on to cage fighting for a few years. Being a daddy is what more or less has took up my life. I could have went to LA when I put the first album out,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a son, lost a son because I was fighting the case for cussing in the
Wow.
bank.
Wow.
You might need a part two for me because
No, I do. I would love to if we can do it in a couple of weeks or a few weeks, man. Because
yeah, we'll do it at your leisure.
and thereafter, I feel like
At your leisure.
I feel
Let's
like
do
we
it.
just hit the tip of the iceberg, homie. Real
Yeah,
talk.
kind of, because we're barely at least getting started in
Let's
the
do it,
real.
dude. It's official. We got it. We got to do it. We got to do it, my dude. If that's cool with you, I really dig your whole vibe. I dig everything about you, and I'll give you a call offline, and we'll make this shit happen for a part two. And I know this video is gonna go nuts,
Absolutely.
wise. But if you can, just give us give your business a shout out, and we'll wrap it up, and I'll be in touch with you soon, man. Where can we find your business, your weed business? Because we're so 420 friendly over here.
Well, you can look me up. I'm looking for investors and partners in all states that have medical or recreational laws.
That's dope.
Uh-oh. And so it's called Mary Jane Moonshine and Bacon Weight Cannabis Coffees.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah.
You can find me right now on Shopify.
That's perfect. I'm personally gonna order a couple of his products, and I hope you guys do as well. Please go to Shopify. Check out. Say it one more time.
Mary Jane
We
Moonshine.
pulled it up right now. There it is, right there. Mary Jane Moonshine. Dude, super cuz I'll be close in touch with you, man, and thank you so much for coming on. This was
Yeah,
dope,
give
dude.
me your address. I'm gonna blast you a couple for you to just have for yourself.
I definitely will. I'll text it to you in about less than 30 minutes.
All right.
My
You have a
man.
wonderful
I'll
night.
talk to you soon, homie. Peace, dog. Drizzy Dre. I love that shit. Love that shit.
There we go.
There it is. Super cuz. All right, let me give you the other number. We could just go right into it. Let me know. You ready? God. Back live? Yeah, yeah.
Hello,
What up, murder?
what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Thanks for your patience, homie. I apologize about the tardiness.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Well, shit, I'll give you a nice intro, man, and we'll get started, homie.
All right, for sure,
All
for
right,
sure.
cool. Dusty Vision Radio, Super Audio Network, on the line. State your name and your hood, homeboy.
Name Murder, A7 Kitchen Crib, East Side, South Central, Los Angeles.
There it is, man. I'm not gonna ask why your name is Murder, so we'll move on from that.
Right.
So for everybody out there, give us an idea of where your hood is located in LA.
Well, on the east side of South Central, right off of 87th and Central. That's where the hood started at. The Kitchen Liquor Store used to be right there back in the day, like in the early 70s.
You said the
And
kitchen
that's
liquor
where,
store?
yeah,
Oh,
Kitchen Liquor. A lot of people, they be asking, like, how the fuck y'all get that name? Like,
that
what?
was gonna be my next question.
Yeah, a lot of people be like, how y'all get the kitchen crib, like where that
Mhm.
come from? But it was a liquor store. Well, originally, we was all East Side Crips. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Our hood was all East Side Crips.
Yeah, take me
The
back
whole
to the
east, the
best.
whole
Yeah, to the best of your knowledge, how did the
yeah, the
kitchen
whole
crib start?
yeah, the whole East Side was East Side Crips. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
and the kitchen crib started like I'll say around. I think we've been out since like '73. I know we was one of the first Crip sets like in LA. Period. Like we was one of the first everybody was either East Side Crip or West Side Crip,
Hmm.
but we was one of the first hoods to like start our own set, and that's where the name Kitchen came from, the Kitchen Liquor Store. One of my homies used to kick it at,
Okay. Yeah.
and it was right off of 87th Street in Central, so that's where the 87th Street come from.
Okay. And when did you get put on? What year?
97,
Okay. So you've been in it for a minute.
yeah, 1997.
Yeah. Talk to me about some of the OGs that came before you.
Some of the OGs that came before me, well, that's a lot. My homie Big Mousy, rest in peace. One of the OGs came before me. My homie Deucey, P-Lo, Trey Dog, Big Rock, Kitchen Mo, Big Smokey. Shit, man, a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
My homegirls, I can't forget my homegirls. My homegirl, Big Boo. My homegirl Trina Loke. Shit, my homegirl Laverne.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. So you guys rock the KC Royals. That's your hat of choice, right? Besides blue, what are some of the other? Do you guys rock any other colors besides that?
Blue and white. That's like the Kansas City Royal color. So we rock blue and white or blue and gray.
Okay, for sure. Shit, take me back to the day that you got put on the hood, that you got jumped in. How you were feeling? What was the experience?
Well, I'm gonna start all the way in the beginning. All right.
Go for it.
Okay. 'Cause I was born on the east side. So I was born on the east side. My mom and dad met at You familiar with Fremont High School?
Of course.
Okay. My mom and dad met at Fremont High School. They stayed right around the corner from each other.
Okay.
And my dad moved over there from the west side. He moved on 82nd, 81st and Avalon. You know what I'm saying? He moved from the west side. Matter of fact, my dad, big brother, my Uncle Ray, rest in peace. He was the original west side Crip. And they ended up turning UG. That was like the area they came from, like 108th and Normandy.
Okay. Underground.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But on my mom's side, over there in that area, that was all Swans. You know what I'm saying? So all my mom brothers, my mom, she like was my grandmother only daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she had 4 brothers, so my mom was the only girl. But all my mom brothers all from Swans. They all from 80 Swan.
Okay.
And it's crazy because, they end up being, that's like Kitchen's worst enemy,
That's right next to you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, right
Uh-huh.
across Central Avenue.
Yeah.
Central Avenue is the borderline,
Mm-hmm.
the divider line between us and them. But
Yeah.
I stayed over there till I was like about 6 years old. I stayed over there till I was like about 6 years old. And then my mom, my grandma, actually, we lost the house over there,
Mm-hmm.
We lost the house over there. It was me, my grandma, my mom, and my 4 uncles staying in that little 2-bedroom house right there. But we ended up losing the house, so everybody split up. Like my uncles, they went their way. And then me and my mom and my grandmother, we ended up moving to the west side.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed over there for several years, But my family always had a apartment on the east side still too, in the kitchens, My great grandmother stayed on 81st and Hooper.
Okay.
So that's how, I used to bounce back and forth between there. I stayed with my mom on 85th and Normandy for like 7 years, but my grandmother ended up moving out. And then she ended up moving. When my great grandmother passed away in 1986, my grandmother moved in there like about a year or two, like a year later.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be back and forth between my mom's house on the west side and then my grandmother's house on the east side. I went to LaSalle Elementary with the Horsemen. That's where I met like a lot of A-Trays there.
Okay.
That was like predominantly a lot of A-Trays and Roller 60s that went there at the time.
Were there
And you had a lot of
were there a lot of different hoods at that particular school, or was it just mainly A-Trays?
You had a lot of taggers there at that time.
Okay.
They ended up turning Crips.
Yeah, like
like
KWS and KCC.
exactly,
and all them.
exactly.
Yeah, I
K-Dubs went
yeah,
there.
I remember those.
ATC.
Okay.
Nothing But Trouble was ended up being Nothing But Trouble.
TNT.
That's Crip. Yeah. We Don't Care. They ended up being,
Oh,
We Don't
yeah.
Care Crip.
Damn.
Like, yeah, it was a lot of tagger crews went there around. This
Damn,
is like
so you
90.
go back to my era because I'm 41, so I'm not gonna get. I'm gonna guess.
Okay,
you're kind
yeah.
of
So
around
we
my-
about to.
Huh? Okay.
We basically the same way down
Okay.
there. I'm
Yeah,
40.
because I was big in the tagging
I know I
game.
don't sound it. I don't
Yeah,
sound it,
yeah. I
but yeah, I'm
thought you were
40.
young when you first started talking. I'm like, damn, I got a YG on my show. I was like, I thought it.
Nah,
But
I
I
just,
feel you. No,
I
no.
sound young,
Yeah,
but no, I'm 40.
that's my era. I was big in the tagging game, homie, and I remember the TNTSS and them all. Like a lot of them either went towards
Yeah,
the Latina gangs.
I used to claim ATC back in the day,
Okay,
addicted to crime,
that's crazy, homie. Wow,
and
man.
they ended up being a Serranio gang.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
think
You
they
either went
Southsiders
Sereno
now.
or you went to you joined the Crips. KCC was in Compton. They was kids collect. They was like kids Coachella, and then they ended up being like something Crip or So yeah, man, that was a crazy time. But yeah, keep going, dog. You just when I heard tagging, I just got excited.
Right. So okay, so eventually my dad, when him and my mom ended up breaking up like before I was even born, So my dad, he ended up meeting his wife like years later, and
Okay.
then they stayed around in the LA area, LA Inglewood for like about 10 years, and then they ended up moving to the IE area, Rialto.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad moved out to Rialto. I ended up moving out there with him like around the end of 19 no, yeah, the end of 1993, beginning of 94, somewhere around there. So I stayed out there for a few years. I went to Rialto High School, but me and my dad, I was fucking up, man. I was doing a lot of shit I shouldn't have been doing, like flocking, was, breaking into houses, all that
Okay.
little dumb shit, I wasn't really gang banging then, but I ended up moving to my grandmother's house on 81st and Hooper, which, was the kitchen. So, and that's how I ended up hanging with them. And one of my best friends at the time was a dude named Lil Wolf. He
Okay.
stayed right down the street from me. And me and him had met one day. I was on my way to school. And I was going to this little weed spot to buy some weed, and I was short on the money, and like the dude was like bullshitting with me. I'm like, damn, like, cuz I'm only like $2 short. I'm like, man, go on, give me the little sack so I can go about my business.
Mm-hmm.
Take my ass to school. He like, nah, man, you short. I ain't messing with you. But Wolf was like, man, don't even trip. He like, no, I'm gonna buy it for you. Like, it ain't nothing.
Mm.
So he bought the little weed sack for me, and that's how me and him ended up meeting. I didn't even know who he was at the time. Then, I ended up meeting him, hanging with him, and yeah, that's how I met the rest of the homies at the time. Then eventually I started hanging with the homies, and yeah, one night I was over there. We was hanging out. Some of the bigger homies was over there. They like, man, they like, you ready to get put on? I was nervous as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I was nervous, but I'm like, fuck it, I ain't finna back down. I ain't no punk, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
when the alley squad, and that was that.
How long did it last? Do you remember how
About
long
a
it
good
lasted?
minute, or about a good minute or
Damn,
two.
that's a long ass. Nah, that's a long ass minute, dog. Right? How
Yeah,
many people was it that you had to go up against?
3.
Okay, damn, and bigger dudes, bigger than you.
Uh, 2 of them were. The other one's like about my size.
Okay, yeah, damn. Yeah, man. So I get what made you join. I know it was your homies and all that, but like I guess if you can look back now, like what was your core reason for joining?
Money.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I seen the way my homie Lil Wolf, he was only like a year older than me. He already had a car. He was having money. He was hustling, doing his thing. So that's what I that's what I wanted. I wanted
Yeah.
money. I want, what I'm saying, the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was one of my main reasons for joining.
Okay.
But it ended up being like, once I started banging, that's when all the other shit came with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to deal with that. Like, actually, like the day after I got put on, I got shot at.
Damn.
I got shot at the time. We was beefing real tough, like with the East Coasters, with the 7 Sisters and 8 9s.
Ah.
And some 7 Sisters that came through. One of my homies gave me a hat, and it had Kitchen Crips spelled out across the hat.
God damn.
And we seen dude hop out the car and everything. He ran towards us. Started shooting,
Damn.
and like one of his first shots, like bam, shot the hat right off my head. After that, I ain't wear no hats for like a minute. I ain't wear no hats for like a minute. I was like, damn, it could have blew my head off.
Damn, dog.
Luckily, he ain't hit nobody though. Grace of God. He was only right across the street from. He was on 82nd and Hooper.
Damn.
He had like a little revolver or whatever. He let off like all 6 shots, but didn't hit nobody. And then
Do
Yeah,
you,
it was on after that.
do you know where the origin of that beef came from with the East Coasters?
You know what? At the time, I didn't even know like what Kitchen and East Coast was beefing for. I just knew like, man, they were the enemies. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I never even knew what it started over till years later. But it started over my homie Lil Beaver, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Him and a guy from East Coast had got into it in a party back in like the early '80s, like 81,
Okay.
82. This when I was a baby still. You know,
Okay.
so you know when that beef started. But yeah, it started like around 81, 82. Like we was think like one of the first East Side Crip sets to start beefing with each other. 'Cause most of the Crips on the East Side all got along around that time, you know. There
Mm-hmm.
wasn't too many like Crip on Crip beefs that I can really think of around that time that was going on. Probably except the 60s and the 60s and the A Trays, of
Yeah.
course, and the UGs and the Hoovers. You know, I
Mm.
know they had been beefing for a long time, but I think like yeah, we was one of the first two gangs on the East Side of South Central that started beefing real tough.
Okay.
But that's what it started from. It started from a party, and my homie Beaver had a gun. You know, they had both had guns pointed right at each other.
Mm.
You know, my homie Beaver tried to get off, but his gun didn't shoot.
Mm.
For some reason, his gun didn't shoot. You know, and oh boy, shot the homie. You know, killed him.
Mm.
And it was on from there.
Yeah. Damn.
And that shit lasted all the way till we just recently squashed our beef with the East Coast.
Oh, really?
Recently, yeah, just
Yeah.
like
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
about 4 months ago.
I like hearing that shit. I don't know. I'm not in the game. I've never been in the game, but I like hearing shit like that, and I hope that stays, like that.
Yeah, yeah. I hope it stay that way too.
Yeah.
You know, it ran its course.
Yeah, that's good.
It ran
I
its
like how you
course.
said
You know.
that, man. I like how you said that. Now, for anybody who's not from LA and they don't understand how close in proximity gangs are to each other, I mean, within blocks of each other, can you kind of give an idea of some of the surrounding sets that are within, walking distance from you?
Shit. The Swans are actually like right across the street. Like Central Avenue is the borderline from like all the way. You can start from like Nadu, which would be 79th Street.
Okay.
From Nadu all the way up to like 90. Yeah, basically like almost 91st. You got Crips on one side of Central and Bloods on the other.
Damn.
But like when you get to like 92nd, 92nd and Central, 92nd and Hooper, that's where, once you pass 92nd, you in Watts.
Okay.
That's where the Bebop started. The Bebop, Watts, Bloods. Then right like a few blocks from there, you got the Hat Gangs. And then a few blocks from there, you got the Watts, Compton Avenues, which are allies of us. We push KCAC. We just clicked up with them. And then
Explain that. What does that mean?
KCAC is Kitchen Compton Avenue Crip.
Okay.
That basically started from us both. Cause they was beefing with the East Coast too for a while. I can't say like when did they start beefing with them or when it started over, but I know like they basically was they enemies was our enemies. So we came together, and that's how the KCAC formed.
Okay. And you're just mentioning Crips and Bloods, and you also got Latino gangs in
Right.
between,
Yeah.
right?
Mainly the F-13s. F-13s are all through there.
Okay. That's probably the biggest.
They one of biggest Hispanic gangs in LA. Period. Probably right up there. With the MS-13 and 18th Streets.
What are your
But
thoughts?
they go
Yeah, go
from
ahead.
like 92nd all the way down there to like Slauson.
Yeah. They just had a big peace treaty also with, was it East Coast?
Right. Yeah, it was with the
Okay.
East Coast.
That's pretty huge, right?
Yeah, it was real huge. I didn't think that was gonna never happen.
Yeah, that's fucking huge.
Especially on all the, been a lot of deaths on
Bad
both
blood,
sides, so
yeah.
it'd be hard to squash beef, especially after there been a lot of bloodshed,
Yeah. Damn.
But yeah, so that's basically how they squashed their beef with us. Cause they was like, the East Coasters was like, my homeboy Doc from 6ix9ine, he was like, they didn't want to squash their beef with a Hispanic gang or, Serrano gang and not squash their beef with any other black gangs they beef with, so they already had been talking to us about squashing the beef,
So who is it? Like OGs? Like, can you kind of, do you know who, do two OGs get together? Like, how does
Well,
the
my
squashing
big
of-
homie, Kitchen Mo and and Lil Doc Thone from 6ix9ine East Coast, they was in a pen together like a few years ago. And
Okay.
I guess while they was in there, they was talking about that, like,
Mm.
squashing the beef between us and them.
Mm. Damn, that's dope.
And yeah, they ended up making it happen.
Yeah. Damn, that's dope, dog. I like shit like that. Uh, now, I want to kind of go a little current and get your thoughts on a couple of things that are gang related. First off, I would love to hear your thoughts on Tekashi 6ix9ine.
I can't stand no fucking rat. I can't stand no rat. I feel like everybody knew that guy was, he was a poodle. He wasn't built for it. He's a studio gangster.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, supposedly he was a Crip at first, then he became a Blood when he started rapping.
Mm-hmm.
It was fake. You could tell he was fake.
Do you blame
Wasn't
him more?
really,
Do you blame
wasn't
him
really.
more, or do you blame the gang for letting him get so close and infiltrate?
I blame the gang.
Yeah.
I blame the gang,
Same
yeah,
here.
because they should have known better than like to have somebody like that involved in all that, all them activities, whatever they was doing.
Mm-hmm.
They should have knew he wasn't built like that, and he was gonna tell. Like, soon as I heard about it, soon as I heard all them, all the what Treyway had got indicted,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, he finna tell.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna tell. I know he gonna tell. He ain't finna do no time,
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
exactly what he did.
Yeah, he'll be out in like 6 to 7 months or some crazy shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's nuts. Now, speaking of, I guess, rappers, joining gangs and shit after they become famous, or to get clout and become famous, or to, for protection. Are you aware of any? Because we had Biggie with the Southside Crips and Compton. He aligned himself, and then Tupac aligned himself with M.O.B., and then you got Chris Brown aligning himself with Fruitown, and you have Soulja Boy aligning himself with Fruitown, and just different people aligning themselves with certain gangs. Do you know anything about that going on back in the 90s and the early 2000s when you were coming up?
No, no, I don't recall any of that going on really around then. You had to really be from there. You couldn't like be no rapper and then all of a sudden now you want to be a Blood or you want to be a Crip. Like, nobody, they wouldn't accept you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now,
Like, back in them days, like, a lot of people, like, especially like from my neighborhood, like, we all grew up or stayed in the hood. We all stayed over there,
mm-hmm.
We weren't even like putting on too many people that didn't even stay in our area.
Mm.
But now these days, shit a lot different. They put on people from anywhere.
Yeah, man. That's where shit's gonna get fucked up for yeah, they're gonna fuck everything up. You can't-
Right, because you be putting on people like people they don't even know. You don't know if this guy came from another gang, or you don't know why you want to be from your hood now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
You don't know what their background is, them be the people when shit hit the fan, they been the ones end up telling.
First ones. Now, Kitchen Crips, they're spread out throughout the country, right?
Right.
Yeah. What are some states that they would be in?
It's a lot of us in Tennessee. We got a whole lot of homies out there, like in Memphis, Mount Pleasant, Nashville, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of homies out there in Tennessee. We got a lot of homies in Seattle,
Mm-hmm.
Colorado Springs, St. Louis, Arizona, Atlanta, New Jersey,
Damn.
Pennsylvania. They got homies in Philly, Pennsylvania. I think Baltimore, Maryland.
That's crazy. And it's safe to say that the reason why it spread out was in the early to mid 80s was because of the crack and the movement of drugs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how a lot of it started. My older homies going out there hustling and recruiting, putting people on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Seattle was out. Seattle was like one of the first ones to get it with the Crips and Bloods. I've had a few OGs on my show, and Seattle is always just from the early 80s, right? And Kitchen made it up there too, you said?
Right. Yeah, we out there. There's a lot of my homies out there.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. All right, so yeah, keeping it current. Once again, I also want to get your feelings on the death of Nipsey Hussle.
Oh man, that hurt. That hurt. I ain't never met him or nothing. I wish I could have had the chance to meet him. But yeah, I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe like if somebody can even get that close to him to even do that to him in his own neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then I seen the video. I was like, like Like, damn, how you got all these cats out here with you and none of them got no straps? Like,
Hmm.
I seen
Yeah.
like people take off running and yeah, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But
How close you guys to the 60s? I have no idea. I'm in more in the South Bay, like the Long Beach area, so I'm not too familiar with how close you are to South to the 60s.
us from the '60s,
Yeah.
that's probably like a good 15-minute
Oh, okay.
drive.
Okay.
Yeah, they all the way on the west side. It's probably like a good 15-20 minute drive, maybe.
Okay. Okay. So you have no relation, like there's no ongoing beef or anything. Like there's no history between your hood and the 60s, from what you know.
Um, we ain't really had no beef, you know. Uh, it's just like in jail, you got a lot of clicking up.
Mm.
Like, we was beefing with the East Coasters at the time, right?
Okay.
The East Coasters are neighborhoods, and so are the 60s. The Rolling 60s is neighborhoods. So when they go to jail, they all run together. They was pushing roller coasting. They was all clicked up, fighting, against the Hoovers and other enemies they had in common. That's how us in the 60s, sometimes we'll bump heads
Oh, okay.
in the
Okay.
county because, they was with the East Coasters. And then they probably didn't like us because we used to hang, with the gangsters. Like we cool with the Broadways, with the Avalons. They gangster Crips. Gangsters in neighborhoods don't get
Hmm.
along. So,
Yeah, because
but like on the streets though, like we ain't never like really had no problems with them. Like, and none of our homies ain't never did none of them. None of they homies ain't never like killed none of us or nothing.
okay. Now, did you ever in a million years, when you were getting put on back in '97? You said was it '97?
97. Yep.
Yeah. Did you ever in a million years think that there would be Crips and Bloods in Australia and the Philippines and
Never.
right?
Never.
That's crazy, isn't it?
But yeah, it never. It's crazy. I was following this guy on Instagram from 8 Trey Gangsta, and he way in fucking Brazil.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, they got 8 Trays in Brazil,
That's
like,
nuts,
and they out
man.
there banging hard too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, like, yeah, that fucked me up. But no, I would have never thought that. And matter of fact, when I was in prison, I met this guy. He was from Somalia,
Mm.
and he was telling me, how out there they got Crips in Africa. They got like
Wow.
Crips in Somalia. They got Crips in Ethiopia.
And it's
But
all because of music and you know movies, colors obviously had a lot to do with spreading that, right?
right, right.
Somalia. That's so crazy to me, dog.
Yeah, they even had some pictures they showed me,
You know what? Now that
Crips out there. But the difference out there though is like they don't even spell Crip with a C. That's the weird part. Like they spell it KRIP.
huh?
Yeah, that's how they were spelling it in Africa.
I'm from the Tupac Crips. Like, wait, what?
Right.
God damn, you just put two things together, man.
Yeah, that shit crazy. But no, I ain't never think like we'll have so many homies in so many different states. So, like
Mm.
when I was locked up, I never had like no social media accounts. I was locked up from June 2000 to December 2016.
Mm.
So when I got up, when I got out, a lot of shit was different.
Yeah.
You got Facebook now,
Damn.
Instagram. When I was in there, I never had no social media. So once I got out, I started being on social media. That's when I started like running across a lot of homies from a lot of different states.
Yeah.
And I kind of blew my mind. Like, damn, I ain't never think like we'll have kitchens all the way on the East Coast in New Jersey
Yeah, man. That's nuts. Yeah,
or
speaking
New
of
York.
yeah. Speaking of New York, New Jersey, even some of the Midwest where they ride the 5, they ride the 6, the star, 6-pointed star, 5-pointed star, and all that.
Yeah, that's that GD.
What are you? Yeah, yeah.
That's that GD and
GD, Vice Lord.
Vice Lords. Yeah,
Yeah, but they've
that's that.
aligned with one aligned with the Crips, one aligned with the Bloods, and they've kind of they've taken over that as well. Where you hear Lil Wayne talking about what's popping. What do you say? What's popping 5?
Popping Fire,
Yeah,
Popping Slime, all that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not real. Like,
What are your
nah.
thoughts on that whole other side of that?
Yeah, they got it all fucked up. They got it fucked up. Ain't no Crip shouldn't be banging no 6-point star. Blood shouldn't be banging no 5-point star.
Mm.
Only Bloods I think that even should like have a 5-star Order of Black Peace Stones, 'cause that's where they came from anyway, you know.
Yeah, Chicago.
Black Peace, yeah, they originally came from Chicago, but
Mhm.
from T. Rogers came out here and started them in LA. So,
Yeah.
that's why some of them, be repping the 5 or whatever. But all them other blood gangs, they be repping the 5, that's nah. Or Crip gangs repping the 6, nah. 'Cause Crip and GD is, 2 way different things,
hmm
2 different, street organizations.
Philosophies, everything, probably, right?
Yeah, everything's different. They bylaws and all that stuff, way different from the Crips.
Yeah, yeah. Well, damn, man, it's been a pleasure, homie. I would love to have a part 2, sometime in the near future, maybe in the next month or so, because I feel like we just hit the tip of the iceberg, and I like your whole vibe and everything, man, and I would love to chat with you again, dog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had a lot more I want, talk about, especially, like the prison system. Like, I did a lot of time in prison,
Yeah, you know what? Actually, if you
16
mind
and a
sticking
half
around
years.
for a few more minutes, I mean, maybe five or
Yeah,
7
yeah.
more minutes, I would love
Man,
to
I
get into
got
it.
I got all night.
Oh, good,
I ain't doing
good.
shit tonight.
Yeah, let's keep
Ain't no
going
Laker
then.
game on. I ain't doing
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. So how
No,
long
I'm a
were you
big
locked?
Laker fan.
How long were you locked up again?
16 and a half years.
Oh, that's a big chunk, man.
Man, I was down there half my life.
What
Man,
was the
I went to jail. I was 20. I
ooh,
got out. I was 37. I just turned 37.
damn? What was the charge?
Man, I'm gonna tell you. All right, originally in the year 2000, I got locked up for possession of cells.
Okay,
I got caught selling drugs, selling dope
okay,
in my neighborhood. They gave me 4 years with 80%. So off the 4 with 80, I supposed to did like 3 and some change. So I was thinking like, okay, this, I can bounce back from this. I'll get out. I'll be 23 years old. I'm still young. It's only 3 years. So I end up going to fire camp and all that. But right before I caught the chain like around September 2000.
okay.
Some detectives pulled me out my cell to come question me about a murder that happened the year before in March 1999.
Okay.
So they give me a pass for the hospital. So I'm like, man, what the fuck I gotta go to the hospital for? Like, ain't nothing wrong with me. So when I get down there, so I'm like, man, I got this pass for the hospital. They like, no, go in here. So I go in this little room, man, 2 detectives walk in there, a white lady and a Hispanic guy. So they like, trying to, ask me questions about this murder. They talking about they got pictures they want to show me. I'm like, man, I don't want to see no pictures. I'm like, I don't try to see no pictures of no dead bodies. I don't know nothing about what y'all talking about, So they stayed trying to press me for, information. And, I just cussed their ass out. Like, man, fuck y'all. I ain't got nothing to say.
hmm
So the lady, she jumped up. She like, okay. She like, you got 3 years, right? I'm like, yeah, I got 3 years to go do right now. She like, yeah, well, she's like, we're going to be investigating this. We're going to make sure we try to get you before you get out.
Damn.
So I'm like, man, whatever, man. I ain't tripping off of it. So I'm thinking like, man, they ain't got shit. I'm like, if they had shit, they'll charge me,
hmm
Because the murder I did do. But I'm like, if they really had evidence, they wouldn't be coming in here pulling me out my cell talking to me about it. They'd be
Right.
charging me,
It'd be off top, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, they ain't got shit. I ain't worried about it. So now one of my homeboys at the time, this is a guy I grew up with. I known him. He stayed right in front of my grandmother's house. We had known each other since we was about 8 years old, right?
hmm
So the murder happened in March 1999. It was me and one of my homeboys that did it. He get caught with one of the guns that my homeboy had. You know what I'm saying? He get caught with one of the guns that was used in that murder in June 1999.
hmm
He go to the county jail. He was only 18 at the time. So he go to the county jail. He do a few months in the county and then they let him go. They never questioned him about the murder about that was on the gun, about the, every time you get, they do the ballistics and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the ballistics came back saying his gun was used in the murder, but they never went to question him about it. So when I got back to my cell that day after they came to question me, I called them. I'm like, bro, look, man, these punk ass detectives, they investigating this shit still. I'm like, look, if they ever come talk to you about that gun, I'm like, man, just tell them you found it. I'm like, man, you already did time for it. I'm like, they can't double charge you,
hmm
I'm like, that'd be double jeopardy. I'm like, man, just tell them you found that gun. If they ever try to bring up the murder that's on it, He like, oh, for sure, cuz, I ain't gonna say nothing, I'm like, all right, cool. Man, so one day I'm at fire camp. This 2002. I only got like a year left. I come back. We came back from work one day. They like, oh, we rolled all your property up. I'm like, rolled all my property up for what? They like, oh, you going back down to the LA County. I'm like, what the fuck am I going back down to LA County for? They like, man, we don't know. So when I get back down to LA County, it took me like about 6 days. I laid over in Delano in the reception center for a few days. And then once I got to the LA County, that's when I found out I was being charged with murder and 2 attempts. Yeah, come find out the guy I was telling you about that got caught with the gun,
Yeah.
they went to go question him like a year later, and he ended up telling.
Ah,
He told everything. He told them shit he didn't even have to say.
that's why
'Cause
that
the police,
Takashi shit hit to the heart.
yeah, because the police was like, well, you the one got caught with the gun. They like, man, we gonna charge you with this murder. That's how they played him, you know. And he got scared. He like, man, I ain't finna go to jail for no murder I didn't do. He like, man, I know this girl that saw him do it. So, bam, that's how they got a witness. You know, and at the time when we did this murder, it was 2 girls in a car smoking weed, and one of them knew us, you know, because she stayed in our neighborhood.
Okay.
But she used to be over there with the Swans, you know, hanging with. She had like friends, you know, like her little
Hood
girlfriends and stuff stayed over there. Yeah, so she seen us when we did it. She was in a car smoking weed with tinted windows, but we didn't see her. So when we ran back across Central, she knew about it and everything, but she never said nothing. But when old boy brought her name up when he got questioning about it,
Wow.
that's how they found out about her. And then when they went to go question her,
She's
at
like,
first
why
she
the fuck
wasn't.
you bring me into this shit?
Yeah, at first she wasn't saying nothing. Like she was like, man, I don't know what y'all talking about. So this how the police play her. They tell her, well, you got a 2-year-old daughter. We're gonna put your daughter in the system. We taking your daughter from you. We're gonna lock you up from obstruction of justice because you ain't telling us nothing, you know. And that's how she got scared and was like, oh no, I don't want my daughter to go to foster care. I tell y'all what y'all want to know. And that's how basically we end up
See, that's
going
fucked
back
up.
down to the county jail.
I
And it was
wish,
a couple other.
if I can, real quick, let me just keep. I want you to continue, but if I may tell people out there, don't say anything. Get a lawyer. Our people, Latinos, blacks, so we need to realize they could say whatever they want. They're saying it just to scare you. Don't say anything. Get an attorney. Get a fucking attorney. Go ahead.
Right. So yeah, they went to go question a couple other people, and basically they like coincide what he said, you know. Like one of my so-called homeboys, you know. I say so-called homeboys, you know, 'cause he ended up being a damn snitch. But
Damn,
he
man.
was like, I don't know if murder did it, but he like, I know this girl that said she saw him do it. So I'm like, man, basically he told, you know.
I guess
That's
now
like
we know
basically
why they
I'm
call you
saying, well,
murder.
yeah, basically that's like saying, well, you know, I don't know if Dusty did it, but you know, I know this
Yeah.
girl said she saw him do it.
Damn.
You know, that's still telling, you know. So basically, that's how we end up getting caught up. And my homeboy, he was in YA at the time. You know, he was in jail doing YA life for some whole other shit. And then they came and got him out of YA, and we was both in the county jail fighting this murder for like damn near 2 years.
Damn,
You
dog.
know, and then yeah, the punk ass COs in there did me dirty because at the time, 26, 28. It was like a lot of that was like the East Coast module, like as far as the blacks.
Okay.
There's like a lot of East Coasters and roller 60s over there in neighborhoods.
Okay.
So yeah, I got into it with one of the COs, and yeah, he like set me up, man. Set me up and sent me over there and sent me to 26, 28
What?
where all the East Coasters was.
Tell me what happened. Tell me about that day.
Oh, fight after fight after fight after fight.
What?
They're like, you gotta get out with this homie, you gotta get out with that homie, you gotta get out with this homie, you know.
Damn.
That's how that shit went, you know. But no, nobody jumped me though. You know, they kept it, you know.
One-on-one.
It's like, you know,
type
you're
shit?
gonna have to catch your fades. You know, I stayed over there for like damn near a whole year.
Damn, dog.
That's where I met Lil Doc at for 6ix9ine, matter of fact. He ended up coming over there in 2003. I got there in like September 2002. He came like around 03, and that's when I ended up me and him at.
Who's Lil Doc?
But he was cool. Lil Doc, he from 6ix9ine East Coast.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about earlier. He the one like one of the guys that helped squash the beef between us and them years later.
Gotcha.
But he was cool while we was in there. Like me and him, ain't never had no problems or nothing.
Damn, dude. That's
And he
dope.
had told his homies to like, you know, like man, y'all might as well leave him alone. He ain't rolling up. He ain't going nowhere. Like he been over here all these months and he ain't left, you know.
Yeah.
So, but
Damn, dog.
yeah, I went through a lot of shit up in there, man, in the county. You know, around that time, there was a lot of riots, like with the blacks and Hispanics.
And what
You know, a lot
what
of-
jail what prison are we talking?
This when I was in the LA County Jail.
Okay, gotcha.
And then from the LA County Jail, I went back to reception. And from the reception, I couldn't go back to fire camp because of my case and all the years I had now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended all my points that went up too. So I ended up going to a level 4 yard. They sent me to High Desert, way in fucking Susanville, California, you know, and where it's cold, it's snowing, you know, it's like 90% white. All the COs up there is white. A lot of them are related. A lot of them are racist, very racist,
Okay.
you know. And yeah, I was up there for like 5 years from High Desert 4 yard. I went to
Let me
Susanville
stop you
level
real
3
quick,
yard.
because I'm curious about that specific spot that you were just talking about. So when you're when you're cripping, when you're, you know, in it heavy, and you get put into an all white facility, like, do you start looking for other Crips? I mean, or do you just, what's that like walking in that first day?
Walking in, when I got there, it was on lockdown. You know, it was already on lockdown for like a riot that had happened between the blacks and the Southsiders. No, but basically, yeah, all the Crips, you know, you know, they all run together. You got a lot of, like, up north. I was in Northern California, because we, like, High Desert is like the second farthest pen next to Pelican Bay, you know?
Okay.
It's like in the corner of California, and it's close to Nevada. Like, you get a lot of Nevada, Reno television stations out there
Okay.
in Susanville, California, you know? But all the Crips, you know, you got a lot of Northern Crips from Sacramento. You know, that's when I met a lot of them. I met a lot of Crips from Sacramento. I met a lot of Crips from Stockton there.
Yeah, we
San
just had
Jose.
my boy Super Cuz from East Coast Stockton. Literally just had him on.
Yeah, I met
recently.
East Coasters from Stockton there. I met my homeboy Nut. He from the South Side of San Jose. He a Crip from there. I met Crips from Garden Block there, from Sacramento. I met Crips from North Side Gangster Crip in Stockton there. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of Northern Bloods. So I met a lot of Bloods from Sacramento. You know, like guys from Oak Park, Meadowview, the Heights. You know, but basically, you know, like all the Bloods, you know, the Northern Bloods and the Bloods from like Southern California, they all was, you know, all together.
Now,
And then
off
all
top-
the Crips was all together.
Now, off top, do you have beef with the Bloods, even though you guys have no history with their particular blood set? Like, off top, are you, like, is it on site with, let's say, a Blood from Vacaville or from Fresno or something?
No, it don't be on site.
Okay.
It don't be on, not between the blacks. Like once you get in prison,
black,
like
it's race.
especially in a level 4 yard, all that, you know, cripping, you know, basically it's like a race thing, you know.
Yeah.
All the blacks are together. You
We
know, same
gotta
with
stick
them.
together.
Like, you know, on the streets, you know, the MS and 18th Streets are worst enemies. But you know, once they come to jail, that's over with. You know, they all together. And basically, it's like the same with the blacks. Like once we get to the level 4 yards, we get to prison. It's like all that shit. You know, that's all come to a cease.
Explain.
Because when it come down to it, right, it might be a Blood or somebody from East Coast or wherever. They might have to have my back. I might have to have their back. You know.
Damn. Explain to everybody what level 4 yard is.
A level 4 yard in California is the highest yard you can go to. Most of the level 4 yard is like 95% lifers. And so basically people that's doing life, doing like 20, 15, 10 years. You got a lot of time. Most likely you're going to start off on a level 4 yard. And then once your point drop, if you stay out of trouble, the points will drop and then you go down to a level 3 and then possibly a level 2.
Where would a snitch fall in? A level 1?
No, you can be a snitch on a level 4 yard. You know, they got all these PC yards. Yeah, like then
I think I just lost you. I just lost you, Murder.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Now I hear you.
Oh, okay, my bad.
That's perfect. now.
No, I said
You
they got
said-
snitches on level 4 yards. You know, they
Okay.
got, you know, half of the, then they're probably more than half of the California prisons now is PC.
Whoa.
Like down there, every prison got a PC yard.
50%?
I say like down there 50%. Like that, every prison I've been to down there had a PC yard.
So does that mean that 1 out of 2 people tell, basically? Is that what that means?
Not tell, you know, you got a lot of people they are dropouts. Like, you know, they don't want to be whatever they was.
Gotcha.
You got a lot of people that drop out, Northern, drop out Southsiders, drop out BGS, drop out, you know, a whole lot of shit.
Okay.
You got a lot of child molesters, rapists that be on PC yards, you know, people that can't walk the main line, basically, you
or
know.
they'll fucking
Don't mean
die,
that
yeah.
don't mean necessarily they snitched on somebody.
Yeah.
You know, it may be just the shit they in jail for. That's why they can't walk the main line.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, a child molester ain't lasting on a level 4.
No,
Gotcha.
no, not at all.
Gotcha.
Once his people find out what he in there for, like they're gonna book him.
Yeah. So speaking of that, as soon as you walk into a big prison or a big jail somewhere that's not Los Angeles, how do they know what you did, what you're in for? Is it like the movies where there's some dude that has all your papers and shit, and he's all, oh, I see you're in for this? Like, what's the situation with that?
No, it's basically like you'll hit the yard and basically like you got your reps. You might how can I explain this? Like with the Crips, you got like different factions. You got like the gangster Crips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Right.
would be like the H-Rays, Avalon,
Mhm.
Broadways, Marvin, Mansfield, etc. Then you got the neighborhoods.
Mhm.
They got their cart. Then you got the Compton Crip cart. You got the Watts cart.
Mhm.
Then you got the Northern cart.
Mhm.
So basically like whatever cart you in, whoever you run with, basically you gonna have to, show them your paperwork. Like
Okay.
they the ones that's gonna know like what you in jail for and all that, whatever cart you gonna be with, The
Gotcha.
Bloods is like, the same thing. Like, they go to jail. Whether they like a Sacramento blood or LA blood or wherever they from, they got to show whoever they run with
So
their paperwork.
you called it a representative, someone who
Whoever
is a
that,
rep of
yeah,
your hood.
whoever's like the head
Gotcha.
representative for that yard
Gotcha.
or that
Okay.
faction.
Okay. Damn, that's dope. Dude, I've really enjoyed this interview, but I do have to wrap it up. I would love to, once again, maybe to have you on in like a month or so and just talk some more of this man. I really dig your vibe and everything, homie.
For sure.
Yeah,
We make it
yeah.
happen.
I
We
feel
make it
like this
happen.
video is gonna really blow up, and thank you so much for coming on, and I'll be talking to you soon, man.
Hey, for sure, man. You have
Alright.
a good night.
Alright, Murder.
Much love, much respect.
Thank you, Murder. Peace, dog.
Peace.
All right. Super Audio Network, Dusty Vision Radio, Dre Day all day. I'm loving it, homeboy. 2020, man.
2020, we doing it.
That's crazy. It's already
man.
2020. I remember when I think I was like 12 in 1990, and they made us write an essay of what we think we'd be doing in the year 2000. And
Yeah,
I
what was it like?
remember saying that there was going to be flying cars, and
Okay.
it was like Jetsons type shit. And just to think that we're 20 years past that, it's mind blowing to me, dude. I don't know.
Well, we're about to get the automated cars, so we got halfway there. And they
Dude,
do have flying cars, but it just costs half a $1 million.
a lot. And now flying cars are going to be the thing to get you, like, it's going to be the new Uber in
Yeah,
like
it's gonna be the
3
new
or
Uber.
4 years. Like,
Automated.
I know.
They're not gonna let you fly them though.
Mm.
All robots.
Damn, that's creepy, dog.
Yeah.
Have you been inside of a self-driving car?
No,
I haven't either.
I'm down.
I'm scared.
I mean, I don't care.
I know people who have, and I know they're safe, and I know 100, but it's still a
I
little.
think
creepy
the
to
only
me.
good thing about getting into an accident is come on, you're guaranteed to meet Elon Musk at that point, right?
Yes.
You get in an accident, it's Tesla, you gotta meet him.
Oh yeah, dude.
All
Fuck. Shout out to Elon Musk, man. All right, man. Super Audio Network, Dusty Vision Radio. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Check out the show. We love you so much. It's gonna be a dope 2020. We have so many dope, awesome shows lined up for you. Dre Day all day. Give me a rundown of everybody on Super Audio Network.
Uh,
I love putting you on blast.
Dusty Vision Radio.
VIP,
VIP,
Packy and Ganja,
the Packing Ganja
Playtime.
Show, Playtime,
Social Primates,
Social Primates, Freestyle Fridays,
The Jag Show.
The Jag Show,
Did I leave
and
anybody
Super
out?
Audio Show.
There we go, baby. And February 8th, what do we got cracking?
And we got an open mic.
Yes,
We got
sir.
a new open mic, new sponsors. We're gonna have a extra long list. It's gonna post some flyers soon, and the return of Pause One podcast.
Dope.
And
Love
that's
it.
what's up.
Yeah, dude. An open mic is sick. Make sure
And we
you
have
guys
a new
stick around.
computer coming in, so it won't be glitchy.
Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
Peace.